In today's video, we're taking a look at my top 5 tones from the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky. So the Silver Sky was released in 2018, and it is of course the John Mayer signature guitar from Paul Reed Smith. Now it's a 25.5-inch scale bolt-on design with 3 single coil pickups and a very pronounced vintage radius. We're not going to go into a full review of this guitar today, and instead I'm going to post a link in the description to the review I did of this guitar for Guitar Interactive magazine when it first came out. Rather, we're going to explore my 5 personal favourite tones out of this guitar, because I've been playing this model for about 2 years now, and I've had a lot of time to experiment with it and discover the kind of tones that I really like out of this guitar. Suffice to say, it is immensely versatile for a vintage style instrument, and there's actually a few applications that I tend to use this guitar for that maybe you wouldn't necessarily think to reach for this type of instrument for. Now, before we get stuck in, I'll do a quick whistle stop tour of the controls just so you know what we're looking at. We've got these 3 pickups down here, of course, neck, middle, bridge. We have a 5-way position selector, as you'd expect to see on this type of guitar. Master volume, we've got a tone for these 2 pickups, and then a tone for the bridge pickup on its own. Now let's start by taking a look at my favourite high gain lead sound. Now this particular tone puts me in mind of players like Yngwie Malmsteen and John Norum, those great kind of Scandinavian strap-toting heavy metal players that I'm a huge fan of. What we have on the go here is the Victory VX100 Super Kraken on gain 2 with the preamp focus engaged and a Suhr Coco boost set for a little bit of extra mid-range push. On top of this, we're also using a 14 Zool clone noise gate to keep the noise down. That's a very Malmsteen thing to do because these aren't noise cancelling pickups. And of course we have a little bit of reverb and delay in post. Let's take a listen to that now. So the next tone we're going to take a look at is what I kind of think of as my stadium wet kind of sound. Now there's a few ways I'll tend to run this. I'll sometimes do it on a clean sound, but in this instance we're going to use a broken up dirty type sound, and I'm going to switch to the second position, which are these 2 pickups on the Silver Sky. Now the reason I've chosen these 2 is it's a very classic voice that's kind of reminiscent of the Edge's work early in his career, but with that additional gain that we're getting from the British sound and the Super Kraken, we have perhaps a slightly more modern version of this really famous type of tone. And of course, the real clarity that we get from this pickup selection helps things cut and sound clear in a live mix and also in the studio. Let's take a listen to that now. So tone number 3 is what I think of as my sweet clean tone. This is the cranked up clean channel on the Super Kraken, so we've got as much gain as the clean can muster, but of course this is quite a low output guitar, so we're not going to get a huge amount of distortion out of this particular type of sound. Now this is the type of application that you're probably more familiar with this guitar in, and this is kind of more, I suppose, the John Mayer type sound. I must admit, I generally don't play this sound as much as some of the other tones in this particular video, but it is one that I'm really fond of. Now I'm going to switch between position 4 and position 5 for this, and I tend to favour position 4 for any chordal work, and then if I have to play any single notes, I really like switching across to position 5 for that neck pickup on its own, which sounds really thick and fruity and just generally lovely. Let's take a listen to that now. Tone number 4 is going to be a slide tone, and this is one of my favorite tricks on guitars that have multiple tone controls. What I like to do here is I like to find a pickup selection that uses 2 pickups and roll the tone down on one of them to create this really kind of honky, slightly out of phase, hollow kind of sound that I think sounds really, really haunting, especially if you stick a little bit of saturation and some long reverb on there. In this instance, we're using position 2. So we have these 2 pickups, and I'm rolling the middle tone control down pretty far. It's not quite as far as 0, but it's maybe on 2. Of course, I've worn all numbers off these knobs just through playing this guitar so much, which is a testament to how much I like it, I suppose. But yeah, we've rolled that all the way down to about 2. We're in this pickup selection. This pickup has the tone wide open, and this pickup has the tone rolled off. I think it sounds fantastic for a lot of applications, but especially for slide. Let's take a listen to that now. And speaking of rolling back the tone control, tone 5 is going to be what I tend to think of as a really graceful bridge pickup lead sound. Now the way I'm achieving this is I'm switching to the bridge position and I'm rolling the tone control down to about 5 or 4, somewhere in that kind of territory. It's generally a case of finding a spot that works with the particular sound you're playing through. I'm playing through a Victory V4 Countess preamp with a Sir Coco boost in front of it for a little bit of extra push. Now the reason I've chosen this particular sound as opposed to a neck pickup is that it gives you the same fatness and fullness that you get from a neck pickup sound, but it has a particular kind of vowely bite that you hear from players like Eric Johnson and Joe Bonamassa. I'm a really huge fan of this sound. Steve Morse uses it quite a lot as well. There is a certain kind of vocal quality that you just don't get from a neck pickup. You can only get it from a bridge pickup, but by rolling the tone control down, especially on a really sweet sounding bridge single coil like this one, you get the warmth of a neck pickup. It's kind of the best of both worlds, so to speak. Let's take a listen to that now. So there you go, guys. This has been my top 5 tones from the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon. It all really helps support this channel. Really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video and explore these tones that I've come to love so much along with me. My name is Nick Jennison. I'll see you next time.